I think for me it's a dream come true. I'm not talking about Amudei Hora'ah, which in itself, it's a personal accomplishment, and I'm obviously very proud of that. But the main reason we're here is not for Amudei Hora'ah. It's for the Siyum. And what do I say when I mean a dream come true? My vision, and I believe many, if not all the people in the Beit HaKnesset had the same vision, that people should step up. And we are seeing that unfold in real time. How, starting with our dear president, Rabbi Daniel Babekov, doesn't just step up in the sense of organizing and making sure everything runs efficiently, which is a huge talent that, by the way, a lot of Sfaradim don't have, but he has it. And it really is the secret ingredient of everything making sense. It's the platform that sets the tone and the feel that everybody needs to contribute. Everybody needs to be a part and do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them as a talent. Whether it's teaching the youth, which to me the highlight of what we're seeing here is the table over there, where we have the Moshe sons over there. That's our highlight. That's our pride. That's our joy. Those are the young men that give me strength every day and give everybody in our Kehillah strength to say this is what we're doing. You're incredible, and I see every day how much you're growing and how much you're developing in the ways that make HaKadosh Baruch Hu proud and make our entire Kehillah proud. We have a Siyum MASECHET. It's easy to lose focus. Baruch Hashem, we have a wonderful table led by Harav Binyamin Chaimov, and initiative that goes back to the very beginning of Kehillat Avodat Hashem. It started small. It started just with Simcha and Isaac, really, and expanded slowly and built itself. And of course, many others were learning, but to make it a group and a major collective effort to finish Masechetot and to continue and to be consistent, that's something that is more noticeable. But what's not so noticeable, and is a very important thing to mention, is what's happening in the other side of the room, and that's all the Neshot Chaim, the incredible women that provide the backbone, that provide the ability, the sustainability of their husbands going to learn and succeeding. This is not a Siyum MASECHET for the group and the men that are sitting here, but also for their wives and the wives of the entire Kehillah by extension as well, and we give them just as much honor and just as much of a celebration belongs to you as it belongs to the men as well. Stepping up to the plate is, you see it in so many ways. You see the youth, how they get up there to be Hazanim, how we have young men in our Kehillah going up to become Baalei Kiriyah, how we have the women stepping up and taking in the role of having a kids program while the men are in the Beit HaKnesset on Shabbat. The women are running a kids program, which is incredible. How we have a library. People sometimes tend to forget, we have a library with librarians that the women took as an initiative in the young girls that are just teenagers. And I'm sure they could be doing a lot of other things and spending a lot of their time. No, they're there and they're invested to make sure that our youth develops with proper guidance. I know that sometimes it could be, and we have amazing ladies that, a library, a lot of things could slip in that are not necessarily so kasher and so good. And we have women that are standing on guard, and once in a while I check to make sure, and I see everything that's there is Alpi Taharat HaKodesh. It's books that go with the Ruach HaTorah, and it's beautiful that somebody's running it, somebody is doing it, and that's of course the wonderful women of our Kira, the sisterhood, doing an amazing job. I don't want to single anybody out, but they are. Each one of them are individuals that are incredibly talented, that are doing on behalf of our Kira, and they deserve a tremendous Yashar Koach. This is the dream. This is the dream. Everybody that is stepping up, people that are doing, the women, the men, the children, the Jacob Abajanovs that are running programs and distributing, and as Daniel said, the Yossi Shem Tovs that are doing so much going on in our Keira, and we got to continue to do further. The chesed that's happening is so beautiful. You see the meal trains, women that need help, there's there to help. We need to do, there's still plenty of more to be done, but Baruch Hashem, we're in a good place, a place that any community would beg and dream to have. We have cohesiveness, we have harmony, and we have a real Keira developing, and it's not one individual. It's a mistake to think that way. There is no one individual that runs the show. This is a collective effort that everybody here deserves credit for. Every single person in this room. I want to give a short Divar Torah, something that I read, true story. Happened in Bnei Brak not so long ago. There was a man named Hananiah, and he had a shop. It wasn't a store, it was a truck. And he would sell produce through his truck. It was, less expense. You didn't have to pay rent. You didn't have to pay electric bills and other things like that. He would park his truck and he would sell from the back of his truck all the various produce, fresh produce, and people would come and buy on a daily basis. This night was a Thursday night, and he was about to close up shop. It was about 6, 7 o'clock at night. He wanted to get home, and it was a long week. It was an old man that purchased from him a few cases of produce. And in Israel, it's much more common than in America. There's something called a trim. That's the word they use, which is a hitchhike. You have a car. Not everybody has a car there. So the old man goes to Hananiah and he says, listen, I need you to take me to my house. Are you able to do that for me? He says, sure, no problem. I have a car. I have my van over here. I'll take you. No issue. You didn't even ask where you're going or anything. He figured it's got to be somewhere a few blocks down or something like that. The old man loads the stuff into the truck, and he gets into the passenger seat, and they begin going. And he tells them right, he tells them left. He takes them to Bnei Brak, and I don't know how many people know, there's Tzomit, it's an intersection called Tzomit Coca-Cola, which is in the entrance of Bnei Brak. And he took them, he was driving 10 minutes in Bnei Brak, he takes them to the Tzomit. He's like, where do you need to go now? He tells him left, take a left. He says, left, you sure? Left is Kvish Geha. Geha, that's like the freeway. He says, yeah, I'm 100% sure. I need you to take me to Kvish Geha. And he's like thinking to himself, I thought this was going to be a 5-minute ride in Bnei Brak. Where is he taking me? So he asks him, he says, listen, I just need to prepare myself. Just tell me where we're going. He says, Lod. His heart falls. Lod is a half-hour drive without traffic. Kvish Geha on a Thursday night is an hour drive. His heart immediately was like, oh my gosh, it's a Thursday night. I just want to go home. I want to sleep already. I want to take care of what I need to take care of. I didn't expect this. I got to tell him, excuse me, sir. This was going on in his mind. Sir, you don't take a hitchhike in Bnei Brak expecting to go to Lod. He wanted to pull him off on the side of the road and goodbye. But then he thought, for a second, Hananiah said to himself, I'm feeling this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanting me to work on myself. He says, you know what, I'm going to bite my lips. All right? He tells him, now this all is going on in his head's stirring. He says, all right, no problem, I'm going to take you to Lod. He's driving to Lod. It takes quite some time, as expected. There's a lot of traffic. Now he reaches the entrance of the city of Lod. He figures, all right, another 2 minutes. He's going to ask me to drop him off at some corner. He probably feels bad. No. He tells him, go right, take this turn. He enters not just the city of Lod, he goes deep into the city of Lod. It's another 15-minute drive within the city. And this man is like, all right, I want to finish. He arrives at the building, Baruch Hashem, he says, finally, I got it, I did it. Shtabach haboeh. The old man turns to him and he says, listen, I'm so sorry, I live on the 4th floor, and I have these cases, it's so hard for me to go do it. I don't have an elevator, I have to walk up the steps, I can't do it myself, can you take this? Now at this point, he's like, all right, I went this far, I did this much, I'm going to do it with a smile. He takes every single case, gets out of the car, takes the case by case, goes up to the 4th floor, finishes, gets back into his car, and he's ready to drive back. Now he's thinking to himself, the heart, it's a conflict. I can't believe I did this, I can't believe he stopped himself. He says, no, I don't regret it for a second. This was a big mitzvah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowed me to do it in the most complete way possible. I have no regrets. I'm happy I did the mitzvah, b'shelemut, totally in full. Now that's the first half of the story. Second half of the story, Friday morning. The next morning, he gets a phone call. Who is it? It's the Shatchanit. He had a daughter that was a little bit what you would call a little bit older, beyond the regular 18, 19 years old that in Israel the Chagadi community gets married. She was already in her mid to late 20s, and she had problems with shidduchim. The main problem was there weren't any good ideas coming her way. It's things that were not shayach, and she was very struggling. Gets a call from the Shadchanit. Says, yeah, they have a great opportunity here. There's a young man, he's a ben Torah, he's great, a perfect fit. They look into him and say, really makes sense. A few weeks later, engagement party. And he gets up, Hananiah gets up, and he says, listen, we don't know cheshbonot shamay. We don't know HaKadosh Baruch Hu's calculations. But I have a very clear and vivid feeling about this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted with me to work on my midot, to do a mitzvah that is complete, that's going to require maximum effort, maximum energy, and that's the zechut that I needed to have my daughter get married finally with such a great ben Torah. This was the mentality. And what's the lesson to take from this? The lesson is that it's a commitment. Learning day in, day out, week in, week out. It's not easy. There's a lot of Yetzer Hara telling you, well, I can miss one day, and I already missed one day, so I can miss another day. It is not simple what the Yetzer Hara does to a person. And a person who does the mitzvah b'shlemut from beginning to the end, if it's a month, if it's a year, if it's in this case 3 years, he finishes the mitzvah b'shlemut, then there is a great accomplishment that has in it such blessing. That's a mitzvah of chesed. I'll tell you, Rabbi Victor Miller, he asks a question, he says, what's the greatest chesed a person could do? What kindness is the greatest kindness? He says the greatest kindness a person could do for Am Yisrael, something that most people won't expect. Make something out of yourself. Make something out of yourself. And he didn't mean to become a doctor necessarily, or a lawyer, or a successful businessman. Make something out of yourself spiritually. If you make something out of yourself, if you become a ben Torah, you're doing a chesed to yourself first and foremost, and to everybody in Am Yisrael around you. And to the wonderful women of our community, it's important to realize sending your husbands to learn Torah is a chesed for the entire family, because a ben Torah is a person who is able to take that learning, that change that happens to the person, and bring it to the next level and really have an impact. He becomes more like Hashem, and when you become more like Hashem, you become a noten, you become a giver, and you become a Baal Chesed. That's what we have to make of ourselves. When a man does Chesed b'shlemut, he is zochet to many, many berachot. Without further ado, I'd like to invite the Misaymim, and I want to say one final thing before I invite the Misaymim, and that is, Simcha gave me this idea, which I think is a brilliant idea.